Welcome to Candlewick Library. I'm Cheryl. Today I'm sharing my middle grade March TBR. I always look forward to March because I really enjoy reading middle grade. Over the past few months, it seems like every time I have found a middle grade I want to read, I've just set it aside for middle grade March, hoping that it would fit one of the prompts. Middle grade March is hosted by Books and Jams, Life Between Words, and On the Middle Shelf. I've been participating in this for a long time, even before I started YouTube. The group read this year is going to be 2 books, The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett, and also a new book called Moon Garden that I believe is a retelling that's set in space. I'm not going to be reading Moon Garden, but I am currently reading The Secret Garden with my daughter in homeschool. We've already started that and we're going to keep reading it throughout March, and so it will count for March. And along with that, we are doing the Secret Garden devotional. This is by Rachel Dodge. We've done her Little Women and her Anne of Green Gables devotional in the past, and I've really liked those. So I got the Secret Garden one specifically to read in February into March as we're reading the Secret Garden. So I'm counting that as having read the group read, but also I'm going to be counting it for the second prompt, Flowers on the Cover, because it does have a lot of flowers on the cover. So number 1 is read a book by an author with 3 names. And I will be continuing on with the reread of Anne of Green Gables series, and we'll be on Anne of the Island. And that, of course, is by Lucy Maud Montgomery. So I'm going to count that. I already said number 2. Number 3 is a book that is part of a series. City Spies number 6. London Calling has just come out, and so I've saved that. I'm not reading it until March. I'm going to continue on with that series. I've really enjoyed the City Spies series, so it's my oldest daughter. And I've heard from a few people who've read it already that they enjoyed this one as well. Number 4 is a book that involves travel. I've had this Jennifer Nielsen book on my shelf for a really long time and hadn't got to it yet. It's called Iceberg, and this one involves the Titanic. So obviously there is travel. Number 5 is written in the 1900s. And another one that has been on my shelf for a very long time that I've really needed to get to is Swallows and Amazons by Arthur Ransom. It says it was written in 1930. So it's been around for almost 100 years. The Walker children set sail on the Swallow and head for Wildcat Island. There they camp under open skies, swim in clear water, and go fishing for their dinner. But their days are disturbed by the Blackett sisters, the fierce Amazon pirates. The Swallows and Amazons decide to wage war, and so begins a summer of unforgettable discoveries and incredible adventures. This one is a lot bigger than some of the other ones, so if I don't have time for it, then I might switch out something else if something else counts. I really have wanted to get to this one, so I'm hoping that I will have enough time for that in the month. And then as far as the other books that are priorities for March, one of them has been out for a while, but I wanted it in paperback, and so I pre-ordered it. And it has not arrived yet. And that is The Curious Vanishing of Beatrice Willoughby. I don't really know anything about it. I've just had it recommended to me a few times. So that one I will be reading for sure. My mom and I will be reading The Prince and the Pauper by Mark Twain together. That one I will probably start right at the beginning of the month and be reading it the whole month, every day a couple of chapters while I'm reading the other books as well. Another book by James Ponti that I haven't got to yet was Trapped. This is in the Framed series, and I won't say what it's about because that would spoil probably for the first one. Another one I've been wanting to get to since I bought it. This is by Ruta Sepetys. If you watch me enough, you know I'm not very good at pronouncing names. And Steve Sheinkin, it's The Bletchley Riddle. This one says, remember you are bound by the Official Secrets Act. Summer 1940, 19-year-old Jacob Novus and his quirky younger sister Lizzie share a love of riddles and puzzles, and now they're living inside of one. The quarrelsome siblings find themselves amid one of the greatest secrets of World War II, Britain's eccentric code-breaking factory at Bletchley Park. It goes on from there. So that I think sounds really interesting. And then this one I wanted to read in October, Shadow Hall Academy, The Whispering Walls by Phil Hicks. This says, welcome to Shadow Hall Academy, where spirits haunt the school halls. I don't even remember who recommended this to me, but I had it recommended to me back in the fall. I ordered it to read in October. It didn't get here until November, so I set it aside to read in March. I don't know if I know anyone who has read this book. It is called The Innocent Rebel. It's by J.E. Ribby. I cannot remember how I saw it, but it was somebody, I think somebody shared it on Instagram. I just don't remember who. This was pitched as Little House on the Prairie meets Anne of Green Gables during the American Revolution. And I was very intrigued. So there is a series, there's more books, and I just decided I would get the first one and see what I think. Those are all of the books that I am for sure going to be reading as much as I possibly can. I am hoping to get through every single one of those. If I do, then I will probably try to read the next Princess Academy book by Shannon Hale, The Forgotten Sisters. I have had this on my shelf for a very, very, very long time. I don't even know how long. It's been so long, and I need to get to it. I was so excited to read this when it first came out because I've really liked the Princess Academy series, but then there were other things to read. So I'm hoping to get to that. There was another one that I've been saving for middle grade March that I've been really excited about, but now I'm not so sure if it's middle grade or not. It's called Berliners by Vester Stamper. This is two brothers. Their parents are divorced and they are each staying at a different parent's house when the Berlin Wall goes up. So they are separated by the wall. I don't know why I was thinking this was middle grade, but they are teenagers. So I'm not 100% sure. And there is a picture in here, an illustration of somebody kissing somebody else. So I'm guessing they are teenagers. And I don't even remember who recommended this one either. So I may or may not get to it. I also have been holding on to Fever 1793 for a long time. And I know this is about the fever that went through that year. But I'm also thinking I might save this to read with my daughter when we're doing our American history next year. And I wouldn't need to pre-read it. I'd be reading it with her. So I might put that off. But I don't know. If I'm in the mood for it, I'll read it. The other book, the one last book that I had thought about reading in March, is Island Magic by Elizabeth Goudge. This is another one that I was thinking was middle grade, but that was because in the blurb I read somewhere, it talked about an 8-year-old. But then the more I've looked at it, I've realized I believe that it is the 8-year-old, and then the story is when he grows up. Because it says, spellbinding historical novel that illuminates love's magnificent fury, Elizabeth Goudge gives voice to the heart of sincerity and truth. Overwhelmed by the struggle to make a living on a dying farm, Rachel and André Defrock's world is twisted by fate when Ranulph Maybeer, a mysterious shipwrecked man, takes refuge in their home. So I know that Emma at the Bookish Princess, this is the book pick for her book club in March. And when I saw that and I assumed it was a middle grade, I grabbed it, but it's not. So I may or may not still read this. Elizabeth Goudge is one of my favorite authors. So I'm still going to try to get to this one, but I just don't know for sure if I will. I think that's it. There's probably going to be at least one nonfiction that I'll be reading in March, whether that is a middle grade or whether it's not. I don't know. I haven't decided on that yet, but I always have some books going in the morning that I read after my Bible study that are usually a biography or a nonfiction of some kind. I'll update with that at the end of March, but I'm really looking forward to the whole month again. They tend to make it a lot of fun. So I would love to know if you're taking part in middle grade March. If you are, if you're reading any of these books, if you've read any of these books before, and if not, what you're planning on reading for middle grade March.